Hello, everyone, and welcome to another California Psychics live reading. I am your host, Carson, and today we are joined by the wonderful Psychic Marin. How are you doing today, Marin?
Thank you. Oh, well, Carson and everybody watching, I just got back from a vacation to New Orleans. This was a bucket list trip of a lifetime. Because of the pandemic, it was rescheduled 3 different times, and I finally made it out to New Orleans, and it was unlike any city I've ever experienced before. I just loved it. Had a wonderful time.
It's such a fun city to go and visit, and honestly, the all the restaurants and the food that they have out there is wonderful. It's definitely an experience to remember. So
Yeah.
awesome, that's great to hear.
We got to visit the cemeteries, and those had been closed because of the pandemic. So it had just opened up, and we were lucky enough to be able to get into the St. Louis #1 cemetery, which is for those that know a little bit about Marie Laveau or hoodoo and root work, that is where she's believed to be buried. So that was fun getting to see that, and just so much that we packed into a week trip.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
Now, I guess before we get started with today's live reading, I do want to list off a few bits of information for our viewers. First of all, we do have a promo going on. If you use the code MARIN5, you will receive a $5 off on any new customer package for a one-on-one reading that can be applied through our website. Now, once again, this is MARIN5. This code can be applied and used for $5 credit for any psychic, not just Marin. But if you are wanting a one-on-one reading with her, make sure to stick around and find out Marin's exact schedule later in the stream. Now, lastly, before we get started, I want to list off a few ground rules for questions. We will not be able to answer any legal or medical questions. For medical, this includes treatments, medications, pregnancies, and for legal, this includes court cases, custody battles, court decisions, and inheritances, etc. If you ask about another person, please make sure you include their name. This allows Marin to connect faster and more accurately answer. And without any further ado, let's begin answering some questions.
All right.
Awesome. We have one from Richard who asks, will my ex Melissa and I reunite, or will I meet somebody else?
So this is going to be about a 3-month process. What they're showing me is a little bit back and forth. I feel like there will be somebody else that you meet in the meantime, but I start to see this connection forming again late August. There feels like there's a breach of trust or trust related issues that need to be repaired. So that's why I think it's going to take several months. Not a lot of communication until I see early August. And then by late August, I feel like this is obvious to you that you guys are starting to get back on track. So I think that this will work out well for you and worth the wait. And I don't feel that you'll get too seriously involved with this other person that you meet in the meantime.
Awesome. All righty. We have one next from Alexis who says, hello, I would like to know what is next for my love life after Mohammed. Do you see somebody else?
Give me 1 second because this is going to be stretched out, counting months. Honestly, I'm already kind of stumbling because I'm up to spring of next year. What you're asking for is you want the real deal. You want a real relationship. I'm looking at little filler opportunities and somebody that pops up. You may go out a couple times, kind of flat around holiday. Next spring, late spring and late May, early June, that's when I see a real relationship starting to form. You've got a specific desire. You're looking for something specific, and I think that that's why it's going to take just a little bit longer, but I would continue to stick to that because it is going to work out for you. Late May is when I see that.
Awesome. Next, we have one from Ashley. I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer this, but she says, hi, Marin. I was recently told that I have precognition abilities. What can I do to tap in more into that ability? Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to try giving the most concise answer. So much of what we're coming to understand about the psychic phenomenon and the process has to do with the brain activity. And if we can get ourselves into that frame of mind where our brain hemispheres are equal, meaning that we're not too heavy in the left brain or too much in the right brain, then we're able to access the other realm a little bit easier. So the key time for when you are a student and you're learning is right before bed, or right before bed when you're laying in bed, or right after you've woken up first thing in the morning. Similarly, like if you were to go on a jog, or if you were to drive in your car for a 2-hour long road trip out in the middle of the desert, your mindset will get into that idle mind, where if you can kind of feel that fog or feel that you're not really thinking, that's that sweet spot. So I would encourage you to start focusing on how you want to communicate right before bedtime, right when you wake up, and find somebody that you know that's crossed over that you want to connect with, or that you, if you don't have somebody specific, that you can just ask, show me this sign, or give me this message, or as I embark on my day, can you answer this question for me? Can you give me a message? Can you give me a sign? And I always find that it's good to just try to keep that written or channel it as you are trying to communicate, to see if you get any messages. That's kind of the quick down and dirty for just a couple minutes that I could give you to try to tune into that, where your body, your physiology is just going to be more naturally able to help you get information or hear or see messages, that when you're in that alpha frame of mind, that alpha brainwave state of go, 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 that is when it's so hard to connect. And that's what most of us live in a day-to-day mind. So that meditative mindset, lulling your mind, is going to help you being able to feel or hear messages. Thank you for your question. I could talk about this all day, but gotta keep it short and sweet. You're welcome to call me for a one-on-one appointment if you want to talk with this about more specifically, or to help you connect with somebody more specifically.
And yes, if you are looking to see Marin's exact schedule, we'll be mentioning it here in a few minutes. But thank you for the very insightful answer, Marin. Next, we have one from Connie, who asks, will Darshan initiate communication this month, or for us to see each other again?
He will, and I'm so glad you said this month, because when I was starting to calculate, I was looking at this going, yikes, it's going to be a little bit longer. It feels like it's right at the tail end of this month where I get a little bit of messaging, but then it's early July when I actually see the plans that are being scheduled. It looks like it's right around 6th, 7th, 8th, like that window is when I believe that you'll be seeing each other. So yes, you will be hearing from him shortly. You don't need to do anything.
Awesome. And then next we have one from Phyllis, who says, hello, do you see is Edward serious about our relationship? Thank you.
Had to find him for just a second. Sadly, I feel like the answer is no. I was trying to look at him on this realm in his day-to-day life or routine with you, and his head is in the clouds. He's in that frame of mind of just fun, non-committal. That's something that is going to change by summer of next year. You'd have a long wait ahead of you if you were really wanting to wait for this to manifest into a relationship. So you can almost expect that there isn't going to be follow through with communication. He leaves you hanging, kind of blowing you off. You will be able to see him or communicate with him when it fits into his schedule. Otherwise, he's not going out of his way to make this happen. And I really encourage you to move on, because I just don't see that this is going to become something that is worth waiting for. Not a lot of mutual respect. So please move on.
That's unfortunate to hear, and hopefully they find something. Well, that always does mean that there's something better further along the road. So ultimately, this will be something for the best.
Yeah.
Next, we have a question from Mariah, who asks, are there any questions or messages for my grandmother? Her name is Lovey Dell.
There is somebody named Patricia that steps forward, that's on the spirit realm on the other side. So I'm trying to see her. It's it's that's not somebody that I'm really able to access as strongly. She's far in the background. Sometimes that's good. It's a better resting place for that soul. But what they're showing me is she's not really communicating much. It's just more of a posture and a smile. She's there. She's able to observe. But this is not like an active spirit guide or somebody that's around you right now. Um, we've got to steer away from family and health questions and fertility, and so I've got to be careful what I say. But I do see that in about 3 years, that presence is going to be really strong in your life in a positive way. So when I'm looking at family and little ones, that's when I see her really starting to nurture and that role stepping forward. But she's going to continue to rest out here for a little bit longer. But Patricia, that's a more recent active energy. If you were wanting to try to connect with her, she's a little bit more go, 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 go. And she's that motivating energy and kind of watching over, but that's where the encouragement's coming from. So that's coming from her, not the grandmother energy that will step forward in about 3 years.
Awesome. Next, we have one from Veronica, who asks, how do you see me faring in nursing school this year? Do you think it is the right decision?
Yes, I do think that this is the right decision, except I don't see that you are going to conclude your studies at the graduation in nursing school and that's it. And now you're on the floor and you're working. I see you continuing, and it looks like it's going to be a more specialty area. And it's not like OB pregnancy. It feels like it's children. So I get like toddler pediatric age. And I almost feel like this is something that this isn't going to resonate with you, or you just maybe thinking, no, or maybe I don't have the patience for that. But this is something where you're going to find this specialty clinic. And I feel like these are kids that have disabilities. It's not just of general practice. This is going to be something where it's really specialty. You partner very well with this doctor that's darker complected male, and it's just going to gel really well for you. So keep that on the horizon, but you are definitely on the right path. And academically, I don't see any problems or glitches. So you found your niche.
Awesome. Yeah. Next, we have one from someone named Shonda, who asks, should I give up on Courtney? Their signs are Shonda is an Aries and Courtney is a Sagittarius.
Okay, give me just 1 second, because this is a back and forth. And I would encourage you, instead of making like this absolute mindset, and I know that that's more of your personality type where you don't do well with loose ends and you want that structure and organization in your life. But this is something where there is this love, there is this connection, and I feel like there's a bigger issue of immaturity or wanting a little bit more freedom before settling down. So what I get is just hot cold, which translates to on and off. And I feel like instead of having you make this absolute mind of I'm just done, that you kind of step back and say, well, it is what it is for now. And I'm not going to put too much thought in this. And I will be positive or more in that friend zone until they're pursuing me, till they're doing the work, till they're ready. And they're showing me that that's going to be early September when that starts to shift. So if you can hang in there till early September, I think that this is worth that wait.
That's really not too far from now.
No.
So, all right. Next, we have one from Ashley, who asks, when do you see Norman reaching out to ask me to be his girlfriend?
Oh, he's so sweet. Gosh, he's so shy. His energy is nervous and shy, and he's bottled up. And man, I don't think you have any idea how he views you or how tongue-tied he is when he's around you. He thinks that you are very out of his league. He's too shy. He's hesitating and thinking, is this really an option? Early July, I see this starting to pick up. You guys are not that far off, but the problem is your specific question. I think, Carson, if I don't know if you could repeat that, but the specific question was it, when will he say, or when will he make me the girlfriend?
Or when will he reach out to ask me to be his girlfriend?
That's the biggie that I'm hung up on, is because it's assumed. You're going to start getting closer at the beginning of July, right around that 4th of July time frame, and then from there it's almost just assumed or implied that we're in this relationship. So you're going to have to do a little bit of nudging or offering or trying to kind of put words into his mouth to see if he can validate this, because he's not somebody that's just gonna boldly say this. But just to answer your question, I think the bigger issue is mentally, will you feel like you are reassured and in a relationship, and that's by July like 8th, 9th, 10th, like in that window is when you will feel like we are in a relationship and it's been lightly discussed.
All righty, awesome. Next we have one from Steph, who asks, "Hi Marin, I reached out to my crush Ryan and opened up a line of communication. However, sometimes he can be so hot and cold and hard to read. Is he interested? Thank you."
He's interested, similar to this, the other person that I was commenting on, a few customers back that reached out. It feels like there's an immaturity. It feels like it's like, yeah, I want it, but am I really ready to step into this? This has to be lighthearted and fun. There's no other way around it with him. This will transition. It's just going to slowly keep growing. Where it really starts to solidify is going to be late October, early November. That's when I'm seeing family members involved. I'm assuming that's got to be like Thanksgiving, holiday time. That's when it's really official. So I definitely want to encourage you to remain in this, but it's going to be very aloof and fun and feels kind of non-committal, which may be a little frustrating for you, but I don't see anything as far as like commitment and integrity, honesty. That's all present, but definitely needing to give that space, so it's not like, well, where were you, and you said you'd call and you didn't call, and you can't get into that pattern. So keep it fun, and this is going to work out well.
All right, next we have one from Rob Lemons, who asks, "Here I have been feeling an energy around me, and I would like to know if you could tell me who it is or what they are looking for. Thank you."
It's a male energy. It's a much older energy. And unfortunately, this isn't something that feels like it's really positive. It's rare that I experience something that's more of, I mean, certainly very, very, very rare that there's a demon or that negative energy like what we see in the movies in Hollywood. This is not negative in that sense. It's heavier. It's daunting. It feels like this is definitely one of those energies where you could feel cold spots, or you just feel this like I'm being watched. Like it will make your skin stand up a little bit, but it's a presence that has been here about not quite two. It feels like it's about 150 years old. Like this is a much older energy, more of a minor energy, more of a rugged, kind of feels like that era, or working out on the land, or something that's like very gruff energy, doesn't communicate, just there. It's a very strong presence. Unfortunately, in this situation, like it's a pretty stubborn energy. And yes, you may feel those EBGBs like it's there, but not in like a voyeuristic sense that he's spying on you or watching you. But it's just not a beneficial energy that's going to work for you, or one that I'd really encourage a lot of communication. I feel like it's better to kind of just ignore this, which is hard for me to tell you to do. But I don't see the benefit of really trying to engage with this spirit. And they are everywhere. I mean, my gosh, trust me, I just got back from New Orleans. They are everywhere. 50% of the pictures I took have orbs and vortexes in them. So there is energy everywhere around us. You've happened to pick up on this man, and I just think that he's better left alone.
All right. And I guess if you are looking for more insight on that answer as well, we do have our promo code. And Marin, why don't you go ahead and let everybody know your schedule, and for Rob, if he is wondering if he is wanting to get any additional insight about this. And for anybody else who is looking to get any additional insight about their questions, can you give them your, I guess, schedule for this upcoming week?
So tonight, I will be on in about almost 2 hours. I'll be on 5 p.m. Pacific time. So we're in the California time zone. So 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. tonight. And then tomorrow, starting at noon, I've got some slots. And then also Wednesday, Thursday's the only day that I'm not going to be working this week. So more immediate spots, you'll find me in the next 2 hours.
Awesome. Now, again, this promo code is Marin5, and this can be used to receive $5 off on any new customer package for a one-on-one reading. It can be used for any psychic, not just Marin. But once again, if you missed that, if you missed Marin's schedule, we will be revisiting that later in the stream. But without any further ado, let's jump right back into answering some questions.
All right.
All righty. We have one from Alexis, who asks, do you see anything, or do you see things going anywhere between me and Marvin?
Yes. So the relationship is just going to do this gentle ups and downs. Oh, are we good, Carson?
Yes, I think so. I think the question just changed on accident. I was trying to favor it, but
that's okay. I do see just this gentle ebb and flow of some ups and downs in the relationship. Nothing that really stands out. The biggie for you is going to be late September. Do you have anything on the horizon with regards to a move, or has there been subtle talk, an opportunity, and the moves pertaining to a purchase, not just like a move or that you're renting, it's a purchase. So it looks like this is an investment opportunity. It really funnels the two of you together. It feels like you're not ready for this, but it's an opportunity that falls in your lap. So late September, by then I feel like you're a team, you're doing this together. And I think that will not resonate with you. I just hope that maybe there's that little seed that's being planted of maybe someday or something to keep an eye out for, because late September is when that opportunity is really striking. And that's when the relationship just roots itself into that feeling of, this is it. Like we're doing this. It feels like family.
Awesome. And next we have one from an A Porter. Is there anything that my mother, Sharon Brown, would like to say to me? I want to know if she is proud of what I am doing.
Yes. And you're missing out on an incredible mediumship opportunity with her. She is right there. If I'm looking your left, she's right there, very close. There's a couple other people. I'm wondering if they are siblings, because they're similar in age, but there's a couple other people that she's bouncing back and forth with. But I think that you're the primary soul that she's connected to. She's going to be here for many years. But she's very happy the way she's poised. She wants you to know that she's very comfortable where she's at. She's in a very solid place. There's no pull of that soul kind of needing to ascend or coming and going. She's just very proud. She's right here. And it's as if it's literally as if she's still present, alive with you, saying, ta-da, here she is. Like she's just proud of everything. So yes, to answer your question, proud of the accomplishments, but more so just grateful that she can stand by and watch and still be a part of this, even if it's just from a different level. So I encourage you just to look at automatic writing, look at any type of mediumship. There's lots of blogs on California psychics, like with intro tips on how to do that. You're welcome to call the psychics on our line that specialize in mediumship, or myself, because she's right there and you can definitely talk to her. She's a communicating soul, but she's just, I'm so proud. I'm so happy. Like she's just doing this, very happy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Next, we have one from a Tyrone who asks, do you see in my past love, or do you see myself and my past love, Jay, reconnecting again? I walked away months ago, but I do miss him.
They're showing me there's some heartache here. They're showing me some heartache, and I'm questioning if there was a proposal, or if there was an engagement or something fell apart, because when I started to read you, I got two rings that just went click, like almost over, like if you imagine these two rings that went click, like they linked together. I feel like there is, when I'm looking at it from their perspective, there is this feeling of, I want that stability, I want that relationship, I'm getting ready. The biggest hurdle with the two of you is going to be, is there a possibility for recovering the feelings of trust or betrayal or emotions and drama? Like that's going to be your hurdle. Not that the desire's not there, not that feeling of, I'm finally ready to commit to a relationship. All those elements are there, but that feeling of, can we get past the past? You're going to have to encourage this or initiate this more. By the fall time of this year, that's going to be the best opportunity. If you were to bump into each other, I'm not predicting that, I'm not really seeing that, but if by chance you bumped into each other, then absolutely approach and start talking. You're going to have to be the one to nurture that conversation a little bit more, to drop that guard and start hanging out. But the mindset, the desires of what you both are really looking for is much more solidified than what it was. So there's definitely a chance, but one that you've got to work towards.
All right. Next, we have one from an Octavia who asks, what does Derek think of me? Do you see his thoughts towards me?
There's somebody else around you, so I'm trying to see who Derek is. You're familiar to me because I get images that I remember, but this is not, it's flat, like it's flat, and I feel like there's another person that's slightly darker complected that's just waiting in the wings, that I feel's stealing the show. So July, August, by early August. I'm sorry. I don't get a very strong connection with this person. I feel like it's just kind of fading. And then I see this other gentleman when I'm looking at late July, that becomes a relationship that becomes significant.
All right. Our next one comes from Jess, who asks, hi, Marin. I dream of starting a family-owned farm store / nursery. Do you see this happening within the next year or two? And do you predict that it'll be a successful business idea? Thank you.
I am, like, my heart inside is jumping for joy, because I look at this and I see you've got the full package. You've got the creative. I was trying to get, what is the business name, because that's something that I feel like you've got the inspiration and the excitement and the creativity and the business mind to do this. Yes, you will be very successful. You are underestimating how much help you're going to need and how fast this is going to grow. And I think if I could give you one piece of advice and what to prepare for, what to change, is knowing that very early on, you're going to need to hire people. You're going to have to modify from the smaller business model to something that's 3 times the size. And it's critical to have that modification very early on, so you don't lose that audience or the following, or have people showing up and you're out of stock. So it just shows me that this is going to be much better, more received than what you were anticipating. And I see you branching out into, I'm curious if you're a beekeeper. I'm a fellow beekeeper myself, and I see you branching off, and I'm getting even aspects of beekeeping. And so this is like the store itself is going to really start growing and expanding, and you have no idea the potential that this is going to be, like this little corner store that becomes like the country store. That I love it.
All righty. I'm looking for a question at the moment.
Okay.
Stephanie, we have one from Stephanie, who asks, "Are TJ and I soulmates?"
Man, Stephanie. Not really. I'm trying to see, what do I label you as? I feel the connection coming from you. I don't feel that reciprocity from him. I don't feel that same path when I read the two of you. You're driven, you're going to outgrow this. I don't feel like it's a soul relationship. The term soulmate, I just feel like you've already soul partnerships and soul partnerships come into our life sometimes, not for the sunshine and rainbows, but sometimes for us to have these difficult lessons. You are light years beyond already in this relationship, and so I feel like it's more of an anchor or something that's kind of holding you back or going to frustrate you, and it's more of an energy drain. So I'm sorry, I don't want to disappoint you, but it feels like you've got 10 times the amount of effort and energy that you're putting into this, and that there's just a slump coming from him. So it's going to be a very difficult relationship, and one that if you really want to be in, you are going to have to compromise tremendously, because it will feel like you are in this relationship for him. And maybe you won't feel that way right now, but over years and years, you're just going to feel like you're slowing down and you're giving that energy to him. And it's a mothering, nurturing, hand-holding role. And your guides are saying, no, you're destined for somebody else that's going to share in that driven energy, and not somebody that's going to deplete that.
Awesome. And I do want to apologize right before this next question. I'm going to be taking a short break just to use the restroom right after this next question. But we have a question very quickly from Vanessa, who says, "Hello, Marin. Love your readings. They're always spot on. What can you tell me? Can you tell me what you see for Rob and I, and if it's going to be real? And do you believe he is serious?"
Okay. Yes, he's serious. Yes, he is real, but he is just the quality of his soul, his energy is a very back and forth. He needs a lot of space. He needs that freedom. He needs that independence. I think you've got a beautiful foundation of this relationship, but the longer this relationship continues, the more comfortable you are going to be with not questioning where'd he go, or why hasn't he reached out, or I thought he'd be back by now. Like, he needs that sense of, I'm in control of my life. So there's a fine line between him feeling clung on to versus feeling supported and loved. And the trick in this is going to be figuring out what that fine line is. I think you were very compatible, and I do see this working out. But if I gave you one piece of advice to get you through this relationship for years to come, it would be finding what that line is, to know if you just give him a little bit of space, because he'll always come right back. But if he feels smothered, it's just a domino effect of worries and problems and things that are just going to send you into a tailspin trying to figure out what's wrong when there really isn't an issue. He just likes his alone time.
Awesome. Alrighty. And I'm going to take a break for just a couple of minutes, so I will go ahead and pause the stream. However, do not think this is going to take away from any of your question time. We will be going a little bit over the end of, I guess, our stream, just to make up for these few minutes. But when we return, we will finish up with 10 minutes of questions, and then Marin will move on to doing tarot readings. So we will see you in a few.
All right.
Alrighty, and welcome back, everybody. Apologies for that brief delay, but let us get back to answering some questions.
All right.
All right, we have another question from a different Vanessa who asks, do you see a romantic committed relationship happening between Jamie and I? Thank you.
Okay. June. Yes, I had to trail this because there are going to be some big ups and downs towards the end. The short answer is that I see this as a labeled relationship by the end of July. You're going to have a falling out in November. I think that it really is cold feet. I think it's just this withdrawal during holiday time. It's just feeling like it's too much. I need a break. Very soon after the beginning of the year, I start to see you getting back on track. There's a lot of hurt. I hope that having this information, that hurt or fear can be avoided, because by February, I see you back on track. And it feels like it was just a necessary break. It's just this mindset of, is this it? Is this really the one? I feel like there's pressure that's going to occur around holiday time of marriage and chatter amongst family. And I think it's overwhelming. And so that little break, December, January, and then really reconciling in February is going to be the one little glitch that I see. So just know that there's going to be some difficult months at the end of this year, but you will be back together.
All righty. Next, we have one from an Angelica who asks, may I ask if Mark is the right man for me? I am conflicted between a Mark and a Michael.
The biggest difference that I can see is Mark is, there's a little bit more of that intellect or organized, responsible, somebody that if you could imagine who I want to marry, the difference in that organized, structured, responsible, I'd feel confident merging lives with this person versus the other, which is very flirty and fun and more spontaneous, but it doesn't have as much of that comfort, or you may feel like you're kind of the one in control or the responsible one in the relationship. So I do feel like he is the better of the two if I were to compare the two, but that intellect as you get older is going to be something that you really appreciate, just that knowledge and what's brought to the relationship, ideas, just hobbies, activities, a lot of just new things and fun that's brought to the relationship, and just feeds the relationship with a lot of conversation material, and you'll enjoy conversations as you age together. So I encourage that person. I encourage you to consider a relationship with that person.
Awesome. Next, we have one from a Doreen who asks, what do you see between Tom and I? Things did not go well last time, but we have not had any communication since 5/29. So May 29th.
Sorry. I thought that there was a glitch, because the minute you started Carson read his name and then you started to continue, I kind of just went, oh, like you've got to guard up. What he's sensing is I messed up. Like, unless I come back with this big demonstration and a lot of effort and trying to repair this, it's not likely that she's going to forgive or want to try again. I just don't feel like there's the respect. So you've got this guard, and I can't encourage you to drop that guard and just let him back in, because I think it's going to be too casual for you, and you will feel taken advantage of. So that guard is very deep. That's there to protect you. And I think that you're better off moving forward and not re-inviting this into your life.
All righty. Next, we have one, and excuse me if I do pronounce this name incorrectly, but it is a Wengini. And what do you see between me and Warren?
Aside from the month of July, that I believe is a month of travel, or where you're not able to be around each other, it makes me question if there's a distance, but it just looks like it's a little hard to get that consistency. By the middle of August, then it starts getting on track. with this, there's going to be less of a comfort in verbalizing feelings, not somebody that's as confident talking about the perspective of the relationship and feelings. It's more of action rather than words. So you will have to be the one asking the questions or wanting to validate where we stand or where do we see this going, which is okay to do. This isn't going to be somebody that shies away from answering those questions, but just not somebody that initiates a lot of those questions. So it's more of like kind of having your downtime and then coming together, vacationing a little bit together, spending some time together, very fluid. And that's going to remain that way till fall time of this year. But I think that because there isn't a lot of verbalization of feelings, you're always just left in this wondering, somewhat uncomfortable frame of mind of what's the significance here. So I encourage you to look at the amount of time and the planning and the times when you are together, that they're great and that you guys keep coming back for more and keep rescheduling. So there's nothing wrong. It's more of what's in your mind and you just needing those words that are spoken to validate this relationship. So look to the day-to-day routine to validate how you're feeling rather than the words.
Yeah, sometimes it can all just be a mental thing, and just kind of, you can imagine a bunch of scenarios that essentially aren't necessarily true. But anyway, next we have a question from Barbara, who asks, do you see me going to a bike rally in August with Rodney? We have not seen each other in 3 years.
I don't know if you can answer this. Is it in Florida? Is there a connection in Florida? Because what they're showing me is I get you going to Florida, and it feels like a meetup. I don't feel like this is something where you are going together, but I keep getting that you are going to Florida. I hope you don't live in Florida. That would make it even harder for me to clarify. Hold on one second. There will be communication that they're showing me in September that starts becoming more consistent, but they're showing me there's an opportunity for the two of you to meet in Florida.
All right. I'm just kind of giving a quick glance to see if she was able to answer. Alrighty. No worries. We will be switching over to our tarot questions right after this next question. Okay. Marin will be able to answer very quick tarot questions. So, for example, you can just ask for a general card, a love card, a career card. And yes. All right. We will go ahead and get our last question out of the way before we switch over to tarot.
Okay.
All right. We have one from Christina, who asks, do you see something new with my career happening anytime soon? Or do you perhaps see a new job in my future?
January, not until the beginning of next year. I think you are going to be struggling with this. Do I stay? Do I go? And back and forth. And they're showing me that if you wait until January, you're going to have the best opportunity to make that decision, because you will have applied. You're going to be looking at another position, and then there is a promotion. So I feel like if you can stick this out, the bigger issue is that you're not in the position or around the people that you want to be in. And if you can wait until January, you're elevated. And I just see you with a different team or around people. Your job is more enjoyable. If you can stick it out until January, it's great. Otherwise, there's something that you are starting to pursue late November, and it takes a little while. So it'll be a choice in the month of January. You'll have that choice of, do I stay? Do I go? And it'll be very easy for you to make that decision.
Awesome. Now, before we get started with tarot, I do want to remind everybody, if you are enjoying the stream, please remember to like and subscribe, and don't forget to share. We will be back in about 2 weeks. We will not be here next week, but yes, we will. We are normally here weekly. And next time we will be live with Psychic Rika. Now, before we get over to tarot, one last time, Marin, can you give us your schedule for this upcoming week and your normally regular schedule for any who are looking for, I guess, another additional insight on their question and answers?
So this evening, I begin working at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and I'll be on from 5 to 11. And then I am on at noon tomorrow and evening times, actually, excuse me, midday on Wednesday. Thursday is the only day that I'm not working this week. So evening tonight, afternoon tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday and Friday.
Awesome. And you can use appointments as well to book with Marin. And normally you do want to do that because Marin is one of our best psychics. So she does get booked up quickly.
Thank you.
But all right, we can get ahead with some tarot readings. First, we have one from Shronda who asks for a general card reading, please.
All right. Just 1 second. You got the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups, the message in this is that your head may be in the clouds. That's the title of this card. It means, are you a dreamer? Are you looking at these unrealistic goals that you're trying to attain? So perhaps it's time to get your head out of the clouds just a little bit, really start to focus in on what you are wanting, what you're going for. I'm trying to see what this is in the context of. I'm not getting an exact area of love, career, finances, but what they're just showing me is that you've got a lot going on, and it's time to kind of hone that in. Seven of Cups. And everybody watching, I always give the name of the card because you can go onto California Psychic's blog and you can look it up. And also, one of my favorite things to do is to take a screenshot of the card. If it's something that resonates with you or something really positive, you can set it as your screensaver on your phone. So every time you open it, you can pull in the energy of this reading and remember that and work towards that goal or objective. And the more you see that every day when you swipe up on your phone, you're bringing that energy back into your life to help you achieve those goals. So this Seven of Cups card is one you can look up on the blog and learn a little bit more about it and how this is applying to your life right now.
Awesome. That is a very good idea as well. It's about the same shape too. So it really makes sense that you can use it as your background. All right. Next one we have is a question or a card for Zafira, who asks for a love card.
Okay. Heavier card. This is the Seven of Cups. This card is a card of you're moving, you're leaving, you're going to higher territory. That's what this individual is doing. They're leaving a situation, contemplating leaving a situation. I don't get this image that you two are moving or leaving together. And so it makes me wonder what change you're getting ready to make in your life, what you're embarking on, where you're going, because the energy is not coming into this relationship. It's the opposite. You're kind of turning your back on this relationship.
All right. Next we have one from Susie, who asks for a love card.
Okay, Susie. All right. This card is it definitely could be applied towards love and relationships because this is the Suit of Wands, which is that element of fire and passion. But we've got a thumbs up. So the Ace of Wands is what this card is, and this is a big thumbs up. Like, go for it, pursue it, lots of passion and fire. But it's the Suit of Wands, element of fire. So if you're contemplating a relationship or a fun summer fling, this is that go for it energy.
All right. Next we have one from Ian, who asks for a love card.
All right. Oh, well, Ian, you got the Fool card. The Fool is the 0 card in the tarot. This is the very first card in the major arcana, and it starts what we call the Fool's journey, which is the whole deck of the tarot. So in this situation, the message to you is don't be a fool. Don't have your head so up in the air that you're about ready to walk off this cliff because you aren't paying attention to that relationship in front of you. I wouldn't take this for granted. This is something where you may have a tendency to be foolish at times. So the message for you is don't be a fool.
All right. Next one we have is one for Alexis, who asks for a love card.
Okay, Alexis. Well, you've got the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is an action card. It's a timing card. And the swords being a suit of air and intellect. This is a relationship situation where you need to put more thought into this. Or if you were thinking about just moving ahead in this relationship, full speed ahead, this is that action card of go for it. Using thought, using that element of thought rather than feelings and love and lust. Think, be smart as you go forward at a very fast pace.
All right. Next is one from Alicia, who asks for a love card.
Okay. Oh, Alicia, this is a rough one. This is the worst nightmare card. This is the Nine of Swords. But the positive in this card is that it is just a nightmare. So if you're going through some difficult times right now, if you're teary, if you're waking up, if you're dreaming, if you've got swirly knots in your stomach and energy, it's going to pass. It's that feeling of it just, you're not in the best place. So this is the Nine of Swords, kind of nightmare energy situation. Not a very positive card.
All right. Next, we have one from Jeanette, who asks for a career card.
Jeanette, strength. I really love this card. The message in the strength card is, when you're encountering a situation, how do you navigate it? Do you use brute force? Do you use a more intellectual form of mindset and strength? Like, how do you... The card is known as taming the beast, because we've got this beast of the lion. How do we tame that beast to make sure that we're finessing and caressing the situation to get the results we want? So applied to a career situation, you may need to go about a situation a little bit different than how you've gone about it in the past, using your strengths in a different way.
All right. Next, we have one from Alyssa, who asked for a love card.
Hey, Alyssa. Two of Wands, Alyssa. Two of Wands, which is you are daydreaming, you are inquisitive, you've got your crystal ball that you're gazing into, and the two pillars, the two wands, represent these pillars of you being kind of torn in between a situation or a decision. So you're in thought, you're questioning. Now is not the time just to jump into this or approach something in a hasty way. This is requiring a little bit more of that withdrawal to think through the situation to make the best informed decision. So Two of Wands.
All righty. Our next question comes from Lisa, who asks for a love card.
Okay. Oh, Two of Pentacles. So the Pentacles really aren't so much of a love element. The Pentacles are an earth, very grounded, often about money, monetary issues. But the Two of Pentacles represents a juggle. So it makes me question, are there two people in your life? Are you trying to juggle and a little bit of back and forth, or do I stay or go, or I'm trying to figure this out? So there's a little bit of an imbalance, or a little bit of like, I'm not quite happy. I'm trying to fine tune. But the Two of Pentacles is your love card today.
All righty. Next, we have one from Adrija, who asked for career card.
Okay, and she is a tarot girl. She loves the tarot. So, Adrija, thank you for watching today. You've got the Page of Pentacles, which is like a go for it. You've got the world in the palm of your hands, intellectually making smart decisions, grounded in your decisions. But this is like a opportunity where you're ready for the next level. So Page of Pentacles, if you wanted to look this one up.
All righty. Next, we have one from a Natasha, who asks for a love card.
Okay, Natasha. Oh, Nine of Pentacles. And as I mentioned earlier, Pentacles, not the strongest suit to represent love, but in this case, the wealth or the money or your status doesn't define you. Like it's beneath you. So what we have here is this woman that's out in the garden with this stability beneath her, and she's got this little bird, which is her spirit guide. And so you've got it all. Like you've got everything that's in its place, and you don't need to worry about this. And it's a very regal, like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for the more important things in life, if you will. Like I've got the financial stability, I've got my connection with my spirit guide, but I'm ready to put it into action. And there's a lot of gratitude too with this card. There's a sense of you're grateful for what you have, and yet it's not something you're flaunting in a social way to define yourself. You're humble, you're grateful. This is a really great card. And in the context of love, I feel like you're looking for something real. You don't want that superficial relationship and connection.
Awesome. All right, we have one next from Ravid, who asks for a career card.
Okay, Raven, well, you've got the moon card, which I think that this is kind of cool because Raven, creature of the night, like that stole.
I do want to excuse, or so their name is not Raven. It is possibly Ravid or Ravid. I think Ravid might be better. The proper pronunciation.
Okay, thank you. Well, this is still a really cool card. The moon card is about our depths, like what we've got this little critter, this little crustacean coming up from below. And the message of the moon card is that we're tapping into our shadow sides, our deeper sides, the sides that we keep hidden. It's very similar with what we experience during a lunar eclipse, where all of those energies and problems or difficulties or aspects about ourselves that we try to hide or we don't wear on our sleeves, this energy is coming up. So on the not so positive side, what this means is if you're dealing with mental health issues, if you've got things that are coming up and surprising you, garbage and junk and stuff that you just don't want to deal with, difficulties that keep coming up, perhaps this is time for you to finally address those issues head on, rather than trying to just stifle this or push it away. It'll keep coming back. So until you properly work through these areas that are being brought to you, you're going to have to confront them eventually. So is now the time that you want to address that? Is now the time that you want to kind of go into those depths of your shadow side? So that's what the message of the moon is, if it's something you want to spend some time working on at this point in your life.
Awesome. And thank you, Ravid, for that question. Next, we have one from Patsy, who asks for a love card.
Okay, Patsy, you've got the Six of Wands. This is like the cheerleader card. You are on this horse and you've got all of these fans and people rooting for you and supportive and positive. And so if you need a little bit of that nudge, if you need that confidence boost, I hope this brings you that confidence boost that you're looking for, because this is that you got it going on, everybody's supporting you, and now you're ready to ride off into the sunset with that horse, because you've got everything you need and the courage and the support and the cheering to assist you in your endeavors. And since you were asking about love, this would be interpreted as like you're doing it, go for it, have that courage, get back up on that horse and go for it.
Awesome. Next, we have one from an Ava, who asks for a love card.
Okay, Ava. The Hermit is your card. It's a beautiful card, but it's also a card that could show that you are an introvert, a little bit more isolated, maybe not putting yourself out there. A lot of us are in that post-pandemic mindset where we're fine-tuning ourselves or getting back into the swing of life. And so this is showing me that you're a little bit more introverted or still in that hermit mode as you approach love, and yet they're not saying get out of that. They're not saying it's time, break free from this. They're saying that this is just the state of mind that you're in right now, and it's a very methodical, contemplative, very wise position to be in. So this is just the significator card right now that represents your state of mind towards love, which I think it's necessary for you right now. So the Hermit.
All righty. And for a very last question, it'll be from a Farina who asks for a life card, please. And she thanks you for all that you do, and hugs to both of us.
Thank you. I don't know if she said life or love, but regardless, this is the Lover's card, which is like the holy grail of love cards. This is what everybody wants to see when they're asking about love and relationships. This is the card that represents a soulmate, soul connection. Some people interpret this as Adam and Eve with Michael, the angel, or this guardian angel unifying this relationship in love. The little mountain in the back can sometimes be seen and interpreted as obstacles that this partnership is overcoming. So for you, whether it was love or life, you are going to have a life blessed with love and blessed with somebody that you really have that soul companion and relationship with, even through difficulties and through struggles. But you've got that partner for life energy that's going to assist you. So this is a great card to end on today, Carson.
Awesome. And we want to thank everybody for joining us today. We also do have some nice comments, especially one from Adrija who says, Marin, you are my motivation to learn tarot. Really hope you know this.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, we hope everybody enjoyed the stream today. Thank you, Marin, for joining us as well. Today was a lot of fun, but we will be back in 2 weeks at the same time with Psychic Rika. Now, before we end today, Marin, why don't you give us your schedule one last time for any of those who did not get their questions answered or want more insight about their answers?
All right. Well, I will be on in 1 hour, and I have a lot of appointment slots, and I probably will have 5 to 10 people waiting in my queue. So the quickest way, if you wanted to get in to speak with me tonight, is you can call customer service and they will book an appointment slot with you. I'm also on tomorrow afternoon, starting at noon Pacific time, and Wednesday as well. Friday, some evening slots, and Thursday is the one day I'm off this week.
All righty. So there you have it. If you're wanting to get a reading with Marin, better book up quick. All right. But thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And I guess we will see you next time.
Yeah, see you. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.